Why do you think that you have the right to silence me?
I always said that I don't want to be heard, I want to be felt. I don't want to make my mark, I want to make my dent.
I didn't realize at the time that I was actually one of the biggest activists and largest organizers of white nationalism and alt-right in the United States.
They are what is considered by most people sort of your button-up white supremacists, your suit and tie Nazis.
Arguably, what they spew, and while it's hateful and deplorable, is political speech, and so therefore it's protected under the Constitution.
Pat, why are you letting the fascists down here? You've got us blocked off, but you're letting the fascists come and harass us? We want them out of here now, damn it, or we're coming over the fucking barrier!
I can't walk in fear, and we don't walk in fear, you know, and I thank God for that.
Honestly, I wanted to make sure that when I left this earth, there would be something left behind that was worth a damn.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? I think we owe you an apology because on Friday we was trying to give you this show, and sadly we had a lot of problems with it was rough. We had problems with the audio, and you'll never see those videos because I deleted them all, so you'll never see them. But in any case, I'm glad y'all here with us. Everything is pre-recorded today, and so Beth, I'm glad you was able to take the time to join, to be here.
Here, glad to get to talk to people.
Yeah, so we're deciding we're doing some house cleaning here, so we're just gonna just tell you flat out, going forward, this show is going to be pre-recorded. We just want to make sure that we give you a good show, and we can't do it every time we keep having issues on the fly.
Yeah, the tech issues with the live are just not making it worth it. And we know we can deliver a show if we pre-record. I think it's the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating because I would love to talk with y'all live. We are still going to premiere it live. I guess you can do that on YouTube, and maybe on all the other platforms that we're on. We will see, and we might go back to live if we have more of an audience. We really haven't built our audience to the point that we're happy, so we would like to change that.
I think that's been our tech issues, you know, and I think being pre-recorded will give us the chance to do that.
Yeah, and one of the things I will say, since we are recording, I should just say before I forget that we do have our springtime fundraiser still going on. 10% of the all proceeds will be going to the prairie land people, and
if you look in our archives, you can find an interview we did with one of their supporters that can give you lots more information about what's going on there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would definitely recommend that. And speaking of interviews, later on today, later in this episode, we are going to be speaking to somebody that's on the ground in Tennessee as they basically try to take down Jim Crow point 2.0. I can't even say it there. Face just is kicking my ass, but
bringing Jim Crow back is what they're doing in Tennessee.
yeah, so we have somebody that's going to be speaking with us about it. It's a friend of ours. She's been out there with us for uh Amran and all of that, protesting that. But this is kind of like when I bring up Amran because it's interesting because basically what's happening right now is the thing that folks who go to Amran really push for, honestly. And happily everybody's stepping up and trying to make sure that it doesn't happen. So we're going to be talking about that.
And I think those of us who have opposed Amran, it's what we've been saying, this rolling back time to bring Jim Crow back. And the 19th Amendment, women's suffrage I think is on the there's threats to it right now. We've been saying that, you let these people keep talking, you let them keep meeting, you let the fascists keep doing their thing. That's where we're going to end up.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we talk about in this interview in particular is the fact that one, you have those Christian nationalists out there that are trying to do things in Tennessee. And these are folks who don't want women to vote. They want to take away birthright citizenship, not just for immigrants, but also all of the people that they hate. Um, we just got through talking about this idiot Dalton at Etherly, who is also known as Chud the Builder, um, who really is like the lowest combination, I'm sorry, lowest denomination of all the stuff that we're dealing with, but he's still there. And it speaks to, and that's also in Tennessee. It's also in this area. And as a matter of fact, Amran, he lives not too far away from where Amran is held, you know. So we got a lot of work in Tennessee. So we want to have somebody on the ground down there, basically telling us exactly what's going on. So, and speaking of what's been going on. Okay, so a lot of y'all who have been watching the show, who've been visiting this podcast, know that I have been talking about kind of like vague references to me being down in Arlington, Virginia, and helping people out, helping someone, taking care of some business here and there. And I said that I was going to be talking about it here because it is important. I mean, it is related to the work that we do here and One People's Project in general. So much so that we wouldn't even have the logo that One People's Project has. So, okay, but I'm stalling because I'm trying to keep from blowing up, falling apart. But I'm good. Um, and some of y'all probably already saw the things that I've written over the past week. On I have been going down to Virginia because my friend and my partner and all of this thing that we do was dying of lung cancer. And her name, we called her Isis. Sometimes she will be called Antifa Yenta. And she was a very close friend. And if you notice, I said was. And she was also a hardcore writer and a photographer, researcher. Um, and I'm going to show some videos in a little bit about how we worked. But she lost her fight uh, uh, and passed away on the 6th. And I'm a little upset with myself, just a very little, because I had to come up here. I had to come back home to Jersey, because also that weekend, the weekend prior, I had to deal with the Binghamton book fair. I had to go to that and take care of that and participate with that. And I really didn't want to leave her. I mean, we had a whole bunch of friends that were down there regardless, but I didn't want to leave. But she understood. She knew that I had to basically, I couldn't, after about a month, basically everybody who was close to her, their um lives stopped for a month. I'm basically running crazy right now trying to catch up to bills right now because I hadn't been earning. But um they had but when it came to this event, the book fair, she understood I had to cover that. A number of us were there, and I loved being there. I'll be there next year. And then I was going to come back down. I wasn't able to get away and back down to Arlington until maybe like Wednesday, unfortunately, because I still had some things that I had to take care of at home. And I was actually in the car when I got the call.
Oh, Daryl, I didn't know that. I didn't know you were that close to getting back down there. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And she had moved from the hospital to a hospice, to a nursing home just before. I mean, she was only there for like a day before she left us. And the thing that I've been telling everybody is that, listen, I'm not really beating myself up over the fact that I wasn't there, because I had been there an entire month.
And One People's Project was so important to her, Daryl, that I think she would have wanted you out there doing the work.
Absolutely. And that's what she said to everybody. I mean, that's what she said to me. I mean, she knows that we had to do the work. She knew we did. And I can't go any further without saying that it had been a rough 2 years for both of us. The reason why is because our other running partner, we were I'll get to her nickname for the three of us. Please note I said three. She was married to somebody that was pretty much 20 years, 19 years younger than her. Which is why she considered herself a cougar because of that, which is why his nickname was Cubby. But I used to also call him Wes, because that was another nickname that he used. His real name was Michael Sullivan. And by the way, we're talking about Laura Sullivan. I didn't say her name yet. Now I just said Isis. But you can probably guess why she went to Antifascism after a while. But her husband was also rolling with us. He was the one that was you didn't see him. You didn't see him because he looked like, I mean, he can blend into the crowd. He did not look like he was anti-fascist. I mean, he didn't have that air, but he was 100% that. And she and him basically took all the photographs that we could and went to all the events. You hardly would see us at left wing events. She didn't like hanging out with neither of them didn't like hanging out with activists. She did not like going to those rallies because frankly there was nothing to do there. We needed to get information about the fascists, so we would go to all the fascist events. And I'm actually gonna show I'm gonna show one of the events. Where is it?
No pictures. Too late. And don't touch. Don't start anything. Don't start anything with me, boy. Boy.
Who is that?
That guy. You know, actually, we will find out.
Going to get charged with assault.
Oh, I'm gonna have fun with this. I'm gonna have fun.
Oh, it's so early for this to be this fun. Who the
Are you kidding me?
I have no idea.
I really don't know.
And she hit you.
She's
trying to grab my phone.
You know what?
So that's ISIS. We're chasing after Nazis. That was the National Policy Institute. That was they had a conference in DC, and that was Richard Spencer, basically, for those who don't know. And there she was, just taking pictures of everybody going into the building. And she still gives props to Margot Margot Land, what her heck is name? Margot. Oh, let me make sure I got the name, because I had the name before and I don't have it right now. But that was who she was. They were you didn't see them in Charlottesville. Did you see them at all?
I don't, and I don't think I ever met them, Daryl. I wish I had.
You wouldn't have. Only well, you spoke to her. You spoke to her online one time because we was trying to get some information. I think you was dealing with the wolves or something like that, and she was probably trying to give you information about that. I don't know. But she was at Charlottesville, and I'm showing some video. I'm going to put some video on behind it, because the reason why you couldn't see her, because she was embedded with the Nazis, right there with the statue. And while I'm sitting there yelling and screaming at the fascists, she's right there taking pictures of all of it. So, but that was what she did. That was her job. And I'm going to play another video. Okay, so she, in this video, her last name is Sennett. She didn't start using Sullivan yet. But she wasn't too happy about this video because she gave them 2020 gave them a long interview, probably about an hour, and they only used a small bit. So it gets frustrating when you see them do that. But it is what it is. That's showbiz, so to speak. But this video, she basically breaks down in this little bit of time what she is about.
Laura Sennett is another seemingly unlikely Antifa researcher.
I'm a mom. I shop at Trader Joe's.
And for years, Sennett has doxed along with Daryl.
When you are looking at posts from a woman who is a mental health nurse, and she's talking about how she wishes she could poison all the minority patients that she has in her ward, yes, her personal information and those quotes and those screenshots went out to the public. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to miss her. I'm going to miss her. Because it's weird, because I'm always talking to her on the phone, and it's weird when you ever see something about, like, Chud the Builder. We would be talking all day long about him and how much of a problem he is and how much he's not. But because that's all we did, talk. And it was also the same thing with her husband. She used to call us all, the three of us, the Mod Squad. It was the three of us.
I love it.
And we went everywhere, just basically doxing. I mean, the places that we have gone, I had talked about a lot of it in some of the things I've written that you can find on Ottervox, but it's like the places we have been and the situations that we have found ourselves in. Um, I don't know if I could have done it without anybody else but those two. I don't
And
think.
Mike passed away 2 years ago, Daryl.
Yeah, that's I had actually gotten off track, but yeah, Mike, um, this was ridiculous. I mean, that was crazy because it was like, um, in May of 24. And bear in mind, I just got over losing another friend of mine just a couple of months before, my friend Kathy. And here comes Mike getting sick in May and June. He didn't know what was going on, and he went to the hospital. He went to the ER and stayed there for weeks until they told him. And he started texting me, and he told me, "Yo, this I don't know if I'm making this."
He's just in his 30s at this point, right?
No, he was 40s. He was in his 40s. He was born in 81. So he didn't know whether or not he was going to make it and all of that. And then they hit him with the fact that he hit the leukemia. Bear in mind that his uncle, I mean not uncle, father had just died maybe not even a year at this time. So we're just dealing with it was been a mess all freaking year already. He lost his father. I lost Kathy, and then he started getting sick out of the blue, and he just started getting worse and worse. I said he gotten sick and diagnosed in June. By August, a week before his birthday, he was gone. And I had saw and it was the same visual that I had. Me and Isis had basically just stayed at his bedside until he decided, you know what, I want to do um hospice at home. And he went home, and Isis said, you know what, you can go back to Jersey, everything's gonna be fine. Um I gave him a fist pump before I left. He had a hard time talking and all of that. Apparently, with both of them, once the chemo came into the picture, they just started declining like crazy, both of them. And that's what happened with him. So, but anyway, I went ahead and started heading on back home. Um, he gave me his father's car. They gave me his car. That's what I'm driving now. Um, and on the way, um, Arlington is only maybe like an hour away from it. Boston is about an hour away from Arlington. And she called me on the phone and said, "Turn around," because he had died while I was on the road. So she never got over that. She never got over that. I mean, she really just started she was just stayed depressed. Um and then 5 months she got diagnosed with lung cancer.
It was only 5 months after he passed that she was diagnosed, Daryl.
Yeah. And so it was basically just trying to make sure that everything was in shape. And I'm just sitting there, me and her were just talking on the phone at the times, arguing and hanging up with each other every now and again, and not talking to each other for 2 weeks, knowing full well that was stupid. Um, Fun fact for both of them, incidentally, um, they only lived a couple of maybe a couple of blocks away from the laundromat, which is still there, that George Rock George Lincoln Rockwell was shot at. And we actually was trying to put together a video about that, and I'm trying to find all the video from it now because I have a lot. I have his I have what's his I have his materials here. I got a lot of his stuff, and I got hard hard drives here. So I'm trying to see if I can find it and I can piece it up together. But that's the kind of things. I mean, the fact that we're that close to where Rockwell bought it, and all the conferences that we went to, that was just all the scumbags that we had to sit around just to get the information, just to get the things out, and enjoying every last bit of it.
Daryl, what better way could you honor their legacy than by finishing that video?
I'm working on it. I just got to get all the pieces together. I just got to find all the video. If I can't find all of it, I'll have to put some new video against to it. But it's actually I'm actually dealing with this easier than I thought I would while talking. But
and
going
it's
to the
a huge hole organizationally, I know, for One People's Project and for you personally, and just for the movement, the work they were doing for the movement.
Yeah, and I definitely want to mention that because it's really important to point out that there were some people when when the news came out uh that that she had passed away. Bear in mind, bear in mind that when Mike died, we couldn't really talk about it publicly because that was a security it was a it was a security thing that we had to basically just be careful how we talked about his passing. And we can only talk amongst ourselves. But when she passed away, there was nothing to worry about. I mean, really, it was time for people to know who they were. And Left Coast Abner, Left Coast Right Watch, he wrote about I wrote about them, and you can find what he had to say on that website. Abner, God bless you, man. Um, but he has an article about it on Left Coast Right Watch. There's all
I was looking at this article on Left Coast Right Watch.
Yeah, it's definitely worth reading. It gives you an idea of things that I didn't even know about their relationship. So I definitely would ask people to just look at it. And there is an article on, okay, hold on a second, bear with me. Michael Edison Hayden has a article about her on Substack. You can find it on let me see if I can find it here. And because he's so profound, oh boy, I'm not even gonna try to say the word prolific. Oh, I did. There it is. I said it. But Michael, he actually visited her in the hospital, and he has some things, and I have a link to that on this video here. But yeah, there was a lot of people hurting. There was a lot of people hurt, and she went out like a boss. She went out like a boss. Basically, what she did when she died, I mean, just while she was in the hospital, I should say, um, she had a few requests. She wanted to say goodbye to her cats, so they let her bring her cats into the house, into the hospital, where she was basically said goodbye. And she was a straight up cat person. I mean, this was her life, her babies. So three of them wanted to go, felt like going. And the other one just hid out. But she also had um she also had a queen come and visit her too, named Tara Hoot, um, out of DC. So she had a drag queen come and visit her at the hospital, and she had a rabbi come and speak, to talk to and basically argue with. That's what she wanted to do. She wanted to argue with a rabbi because she grew up Jewish, and she says you have to rabbis encourage them to argue with them. And she likes to argue. So, but it was all good. And she had a rave. She had a rave from her hospital bed. So I said, okay, that works too. And she also made sure she was wearing her red beret, as in the French. And so she was making the most out of her final days. And
Sounds like an amazing person. A
she
force.
was. She was. And she did not suffer bullshit. She really did not. She had a low tolerance for that. Low. Hell, she hung up a company. There used to be times when she wouldn't even talk to me for a couple of months because I pissed her off or she pissed me off or something like that. But we always came back. It happened just back in October, but 2 weeks later, we're back again. Um, and it's kind of like even the fashion respected her from time to time. I mean, I won't mention any names because then we're just getting into another thing. But it's like she was destroying their lives if they allowed, but if they did not change their ways. That was pretty much the deal. And it's tough. I mean, I feel alone right now. I really do, because the Sullivans were my running partners. They were I mean, my family, Jenny, and them. And no one knows who Jenny is. You don't have to know. They are the most important people in my world, and they're gone.
I'm so sorry, Daryl.
And thank you.
I know that just the last 4 years have been hard for you all the way around, and then to lose these people who were so important.
Hell, they were worried about me. They were worried about what they were going to do if something happened was going on with me and all my health issues. I mean, 2 strokes. That was before. Let me get this straight. Let me see. Okay, so the 2 strokes. One was I think no, yeah, it was they were both last year. They were both last year, or rather December. Okay, Michael was already gone in December of 24, and then I had the second one and in March. So yeah, I mean, things just started taking a turn for all of us. I'm trying to hold on as long as I can, but then again, that's the reason why I'm trying to shore up things when it comes to One People's Project to begin with, because you don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. So
And losing people close to you reminds you of that.
Yeah, and exactly. But I'm gonna miss them. I'm gonna miss them. It's gonna be rough going on without them. Funeral's coming up in a couple of weeks. And everything that I'm holding in right now is gonna come right back. It's gonna come right out on that day. So, and then I gotta move on. I mean, there's stuff that I can't even talk about right now that I wish I could tell everybody, tell you. I mean, there's stuff that I'm forgetting that we've done. I mean, all right, we better get on. Let's all right. Thank you for giving me this moment. And to everybody that was showing love on Facebook and everything, and to Abner, to Michael, to Hannah, everybody that was that's been giving us love and everything, I appreciate it very much. You are not forgotten. You are appreciated, and time to get back at work, which is exactly what we're going to do right now with this interview that we just taped. So here we go.
So this week we want to talk about the death of the Voting Rights Act, and as a historian, I would say the death of a democracy, at least for the moment. A lot of historians will agree that the United States became a democracy in 1965 with the passage of the Voting Rights Act. The Voting Rights Act is ruled by the people, and if a whole lot of the people can't vote, then you can't have a democracy. Well, the Supreme Court ruling basically gutted the Voting Rights Act, and Tennessee was the first, I believe, state to basically begin rolling us back toward Jim Crow. And today on Antifascist OG, we have my friend, the Reverend Susan Hudson McBride, who is going to be here to talk about the protests that happened in Tennessee, everything that was the fight in Tennessee, and kind of the vibe, how people are feeling down there. So welcome, Susan. We're so happy to have you here.
Oh, this is going to be good.
I think it is. I mean, I've been watching a lot of what's been going on down there, and it's really interesting for me because you're starting to see one of the things that's been happening just really over the past couple of months. What we've been seeing, a lot of people, whether you're talking about Minneapolis or Tennessee, our elected officials are failing us in protecting us from very bad elements of it. So we're taking the street. We're coming out. We're making things happen. To the point that I noticed that there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Tennessee, but when it comes to Tennessee, I noticed that they're trying to curtail protests, whether it's through some sort of legislation. We can speak to that, especially you, Beth and I, because of how they deal with AMREN, the American Renaissance Conference. But this time we're talking.
Sarah.
What's that again?
Susan's been out there to stand up against AMREN with us a few times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We had also, what am I getting ready to say here? Okay, yeah, but what we saw this week is them trying to punish fellow lawmakers who protested what they're doing today, what they're doing this week. And that's going to be something that we need to talk about because it's not the first time they pulled this stunt. And so I want to thank you for being here on the show. And I basically want to pick your brain, so to speak, as to how things have been on the ground down there.
Well, I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say there were moments when we were all exhausted, tired, frustrated, angry, and feeling like we just wanted to kick a can down the road. But honestly, what has happened is the fascists in Tennessee, and that's what they are. They, we can call them Republicans, but those folks have shot themselves in the foot. They're so good at that. They have caused people to come out harder and bigger and louder than they ever would have. I was just looking today at all the folks who have gone down to Selma and Montgomery, and half of Memphis and Nashville is down there. They're letting people know, we're not going with this. You're not going to shut us down.
I saw where the governor in Mississippi has canceled their special session to redistrict because of fears of the people's response. And I think some of that might be because of how loud Tennessee got.
Yeah, boy, did we get loud. By the third day, I really thought my hearing was gone. The Capitol in Nashville is, it's cavernous and sound carries, and the amount of kickback, just the noise itself was unreal. But the amazing thing to me, this is how I knew people were going to keep things going. By the third day, we were still chanting and chanting strong. And, after a while, I don't care what you're doing, people get tired. But we were watching what was happening out in the hallways. They have televisions, and so we could see. And there were also people inside in the galleries texting us and talking with us about what was happening. So we were able to keep things going. And even when it was over, everybody got outside on those forever steps that just keep going and going. And there were several hundred people out there saying, it's not over. All we're going to do is, that one woman got out, she had us chanting, educate, antagonize, and organize. And that's what's been going on since.
Unfortunately, as I said earlier, they're getting pushback in the form of legislation against their right to speak. I mean, they protect Chud the Builder's speech more than they would defend ours. And my feeling is, what kind of pushback have you personally seen while you were out there?
Well, I mean, they kicked us out of committee meetings. The Capitol had more state troopers than I have ever seen them put in there. And, we've seen a lot of troopers in the past, but they had them to where there was no space between them. They went shoulder to shoulder and made, passageways for people to come out of the chamber and go through so that nobody could get to them, which was fascinating because we were not the people, we had no incidents of violence at all. And, they were there, muscling, pushing us back. And we continued to chant, continued to sing, and continued to call out. As soon as, when the Republicans came through, the people who had, first of all, taken a law, they had to change a law so that it wouldn't be against the law what they were doing, which, just a total shit show kind of a thing. So we're not breaking the law, we're going to change it. And that was supposed to fix things. They came out and it was clear they were very concerned walking through. They didn't, afraid of us. And for what reason, I don't know. We've never been violent down there. The Democrats came through, and all of a sudden the Democrats were reaching through and shaking our hands. And, we were talking, going on to each other. And I watched the troopers were looking around each other like, what is going on? They hadn't made sense of this whole thing. So, they over and over, they have tried to find ways to shut us down. And we're going to hold on to our First Amendment rights. We're just going to keep on holding on to it, because if we don't, we're screwed.
Right.
I think I didn't do a very good job at the beginning in explaining. I got on my Voting Rights Act tangent, but what happened in Tennessee is the legislature there basically dissolved the only district in the state that was primarily African American representation, the city of Memphis, which is a city that is the largest population in the city is African Americans. And what they
65%.
5% African American. They cut the district into like these ribbons so that it goes through the city, and then brings in these larger rural areas in each district, so that the African American vote is diluted. And just speaking of Tennessee, like, we know the legislature down there is racist. Nathan Bedford Forrest statue still there, right, Susan, in the Capitol building?
I am not sure. I didn't see it there. I believe it was removed.
Okay.
It was.
But Andrew Jackson's there.
Andrew Jackson. And we know that those troopers are racist. Susan and I were at a protest where there were 60 people protesting, and the troopers grabbed the one black man at our protest and violently assault him. We've seen it. We know what Tennessee's legislature and the Capitol troopers. This is a return. They want to return to Jim Crow.
Mm-hmm.
And Memphis has had its own district since 1921. Is that right, Susan? Is that what I read?
I am not sure. I just know it's been a very long time.
Yeah.
They are connected. One of the districts now it's like, if you look at the map there, it snakes around. It literally, the seat of the district where Justin Pearson is the rep, the seat of that district is now in Pulaski, Tennessee, birthplace of the KKK, and then goes up to Williamson County, which is very much racist. That is a tough county. One of our local, Phil Williams, who's a local journalist here in Nashville, has been going around checking in with the hate groups and doing interviews and seeing what's going on with them. And he went to Williamson County, and he was just stunned. He was not aware until he went there how heavily racist it really is. So they've tried to dilute things as much as they can.
And this is not the first time they've done this either, because I always like to bring up the fact that there was a new gerrymandered Nashville a couple of years ago, and that's why we have a congressman named Andy Ogles there.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The fact that you responded that way. For those who don't know, he's above and beyond anything that even MAGA does. I think he will attack not just Islam, but right after Bad Bunny had his event, his halftime show, he decides to go on. I guess he has a podcast where he basically just said that Latino culture is not compatible with America or some nonsense like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that every time I see him, I'm thinking that if he was gerrymandered into his seat, if his district didn't exist just a couple of years ago, because they wanted to dilute the vote in Tennessee. They want to diminish them there, and this is what we're getting, a representative that is not representative of the town of the city.
Yeah.
Of that.
Because they can't win. They have to cheat.
No.
This is cheating. And, we have to look too. John Roberts, Chief Justice John Roberts, he's wanted to destroy the Voting Rights Act for decades. And now he's getting to do that.
It only, but it looks like while we're looking at them doing that, we're also looking at, as we're talking about today, people are pushing back. And my question next is, how can we help you? We helped people in Minnesota, but how can we help everybody that are out in the street right now?
Well, I think one of the things I'm seeing happen is across state lines, people are coming in like the day after the Republicans did their deed, Stacey Abrams came to town. And the Baptist Church, Capitol Hill, she came to speak. And it is clear that people all over the South are coming in, are stepping in to help each other. What's happening is instead of each state doing its work, everybody's working together. And there were 4 women who were organizers from Memphis who got up to speak. 4 Black women who have organizations. And what they showed was, yes, we have 4 different organizations. We're doing each of them, talking about the different kind of work they were doing, but they are working together. And that's the strength of the folks who are struggling right now. We're all working together. And the folks you mentioned Andy Ogles, most of the Republican Party, most of the folks out there, the MAGAs, they can't stand the guy. He is really a disgusting human being. He's a total waste of skin. He will say anything. It doesn't have to make any sense at all. And he's not going to be able to hold his own. The only reason he is in office is because they wanted somebody there, that the Republicans wanted somebody there. Trump wanted somebody that he could boss around, that he could use. And that's why he's there. He's not useful for anything else except to stop a Democrat from being there.
Right. I think one of the things that brings me a little hope, even though I don't know what's going to happen, when you look at somebody like the Justins, and one of them is running for Congress. He's in, and I've been waiting for that between those two, because those were the two that you saw first getting, in recent time, getting the burn from the legislation, the legislatures, and because when a couple of years ago, when they protested against gun violence, they got expelled.
And Gloria Johnson, who was worked closely with them, she came very close.
Yes, and the thing is, she was a white woman, and they weren't. So
yeah, and she knew that.
And but now one of them is which one? I want to make sure. Justin. Justin Pearson.
Yeah, Justin Pearson. Yeah, he's running for Congress, and he's out of Memphis.
He's out of Memphis, yes.
Yeah. He is an amazing human. I see a huge future for him.
I do too. And Jones.
It just broke my heart.
Yeah.
His brother, I mean, I don't know either of them. I think maybe I met Representative Pearson once in the past, but he seems like he's 31 years old. I mean, he's I think he will do great things from what I'm seeing, and just his leadership during this tragedy. I mean, it's a tragedy.
And like I said, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, whether or not he's going to prevail. I mean, you know, it suggests that he probably. I mean, I don't want to just put it out there that it's already in the cards and all, but the fact of the matter is that he is out there, and they do not like that.
Yeah, let Rep Pearson go. Let Rep Pearson. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Racist redistricting is destroying our country and the idea of democracy. And what happened during a legislative session, while hundreds of people were in the gallery trying to really participate and bear witness to what was going on, the Speaker of the House cleared an entire gallery with state troopers. My brother, Allison Wetter, and Lauren, two of our supporters, refused to leave. They said they were not being disruptive, and they were not. They weren't hissing. They weren't making any noises. And yet troopers grabbed my brother and lifted him up to carry him out of the gallery. I ran up the stairs to check on him. One of the troopers refused to let him go and then grabbed me and refused to let me go, despite the fact that his supervisor was saying, let him walk, let him go, let Rep Pearson go. But the Speaker of the House does this. He oftentimes misuses and abuses his power to clear the gallery so that people aren't able to bear witness and see what is going on. And he uses very small infractions of one person in the crowd to silence the participation or end the participation of everybody. And then it's the weaponization of troopers that he often does. Tennessee is the lab rat for autocracy in the United States of America that gets incubated in Tennessee and then gets dispersed out to other places, particularly across the South. And this racist redistricting is no different. This is our time. It's not coming back. Be there for real. Show up for real in this moment in time. This is our era. This is our civil rights movement. This is our time to be a part of the struggle.
I love how he owns that moment and puts it in his video. Yep. I think it shows incredible restraint. Some trooper put their hand on my sibling, and I don't know that I could have shown the restraint that Representative Pearson did.
Well, the thing too is he had already been through several days of absolute, they were, the Republicans were attacking him personally. And I mean, I had seen him at a point where I thought, he's worn out. He had support.
To death.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
We got Mondani, who has balanced New York City's budget already. I think these young, progressive, smart politicians terrify the fascists. And I hope we're going to see, I mean, we've got Charles Booker running for Mitch McConnell's seat in Kentucky. I mean, like, if we can get some of these people in office and the people can see, like, we don't have to live the way the fascists have told us we do.
Yeah.
The fascists must be scared of them.
And bear in mind, too, when it comes to when you bring up Mondani, bear in mind that we also have really Democrats, old guard, that are also keeping him from doing the Lord's work, so to speak. And is that happening? Are we seeing that in Tennessee as well? And I'm going somewhere with this.
Well, yes and no. It depends on who you're talking about. We thought we were getting a progressive mayor here, and he's turned out to be a bootlicker and basically useless as far as protecting people in Tennessee from things like license plate readers and things like that. And even though, I mean, that's not he's not a part of the legislature, but it's still, that whole thing still bleeds over into what's going on at the legislature. There are people, I think, at the legislature that wish some of the younger louder people weren't so loud, they would still, there's still in some people's minds, there's still that, well, why don't we just all sit down at the table and have a conversation? And it's conversation time's over. There is no conversation with those characters.
No.
So I have felt really good for the most part about the support that Democrats are giving each other. In some cases, I still feel like, and I want to be careful saying this because I know they are tired. I know those folks are absolutely drained from an entire session where it was just one thing after the other. And I know one of my housemates, Michelle Flynn, she and another woman have a podcast, and Michelle has this Substack where she was coming home after all day at the legislature and then spending most of the evening putting together everything that happened that day and what to expect the next day and getting people down there. Everybody was tired.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
And I think, Daryl, in Tennessee, and Susan, correct me if I'm wrong, the Democratic Party has just no power. So there's not those corporate controlling old guard of the Democratic Party there, because the party's just barely breathing. You think that's true?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I do. I mean, it's the young folk that are kicking it up. When Afton Bain came along, I think she's pushed hard. I was, in the beginning, I wasn't sure where. She's a representative in the House. She's new. I just feel like, Gloria Johnson has continued to speak up, stand up, and she goes hard. Justin Pearson's going hard. I feel bad for a lot of our reps because I do know they're very tired, but I think everybody's getting a second wind now.
I was where I was going with my question is that I just a couple of days ago, Steve Cohen had suspended his campaign. Basically, he's going to be retiring because he can't do this fight. And when I heard him being interviewed, and I cannot remember the person's name, but he did refer to younger voters that are, I'm sorry, not voters, people out there that are trying to take up where he left off, really. People want to try to get that seat that he's vacating, if it's still there or what have you. But you answered the question right quick. First of all, what do you think about Steve Cohen leaving?
Steve Cohen hasn't been all that.
Yeah.
He could have been a lot stronger for Memphis. And when Justin Pearson stepped up for his seat, Steve Cohen was intimidated by that, and he even came to the legislature one day and sat in on things there. And Pearson was saying, "I'm not sure why this guy's here. He seems like intimidation." It's kind of like Steve Cohen has come in at the last minute and made a strong statement. Okay, fine, thanks, but you've had all these years. You could have been speaking out.
And I'm curious too. He is right now. What's the district that Cohen wrecked? That's the 9th, correct?
Yes.
And Pearson is running. Yeah. Oh, so that was what was split up. So
Yeah.
what does that mean? Because Pearson was actually running for that particular seat.
Well, Pearson is continuing to run. And I don't know how this plays out. The hope is that people will come out and vote in spite of. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be really pushing for people to come out and vote. If the folks in Williamson County and Pulaski and all want to stay home, I mean, we're not going over there and pushing those folks to vote.
Yeah, I've been to Pulaski.
Yeah.
And I got pictures of myself in front of the building that the Klan started in. So
yeah,
it's a but it's crazy. It's crazy, and I hope you nothing but the best for that. But what as again I asked before, how can we help that effort? Because we got what 6 months or so before the November comes rolling around.
Was it June, July, August, September, October, November? Yeah. I mean, what we're going to be doing down here is there's going to be a whole lot of door knocking. We're going to go places where people don't normally go. There's a lot of rural folk that get no attention. We're going to be signing people up to vote. There's going to be a huge push with that.
That's one of the things that Beth was always talking about, trying to focus on the rural. I mean, yes, we was just joking around about Pulaski.
Yeah.
But we need to tell those working class white people out there in those districts who's going to represent your interests. You know, who's going to be on your side? Who's going to make sure you can go to the doctor, that you can, you know, it's not going to be the fascists.
No.
Yeah. And that's the thing, going in and talking to people, teaching people, you know, ask, you know, right now, who is your representative, if they even know? And if you don't know who your representative is, how are things going for you?
Yeah.
And what if you had a representative you could vote for and then get in touch with and let them know how things, you know?
You know, and I think, well, I feel like Booker's going to have a shot in Kentucky. I do. And part of that is because
I hope.
Care. And if we can educate working class white people that your interests are going to be protected as part of anti-racism, you're going to get medical care. You know, we have to do this education. And I think we can overcome these things with the majority of ordinary people. But it's going to be a huge effort.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Jackson County, a group of white nationalists went in over there and they were going to buy up all this property. They were going to take over that whole town. I always thought of Jackson County as pretty conservative. Those folks pushed back. I went to the downtown Gainsboro, which is their county seat, and they had signs up in that town. They had saying, you know, we don't want hate here. They had big banners up, and a guy decided to run for mayor there. And I contacted him, and turns out he's just an old Baptist guy. And I asked him, I said, what possessed you to run for mayor? And he said, because I don't want these guys taking over. This is our home, and we do not want them coming in and taking over here. We're not hateful people. I thought, you know, we need to be talking to those folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you listen to their podcast, though, they're really crass, and they were very demeaning toward the people there. And that was another thing that really put the folks over there off. I think they thought they were going to go in and take over that county. And as a matter of fact, Phil Williams went in and did an interview with them. He's been watching who's buying property up over there, and it's not them. What they thought they were going to do is have all these Christian nationalists come in, white nationalists, and take over the county, and it's not happening. And not only is it not happening, the folks in Jackson County are saying, we don't want you here.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the interesting things too, because you see a lot of activity of that type. I know Patriot Front was trying to set up some sort of compound down there. I don't know where that is right now. I gotta look and see where they are. But when you look at that, you look at the number of conferences that are happening around or has happened in the state. They feel very, 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 very comfortable to basically hang their hats in Tennessee. And that's why we have a character like Dalton either to aka Chud. Yeah, I'd rather say his real name because that way it stays in everybody's head. But it's kind of like, here we are. I was just saying this earlier. Or actually, I wasn't saying it earlier. I'm sorry. Let me wind back. But one of the things about this character, Etherly, is the fact that we weren't talking about him a week ago.
Nobody knew who. I know tons of people are saying, where did this guy come from?
Never heard of him.
And within that time, within just a week, he has ended up being all over the internet, leading to 2 charges. He caught 2 charges, and one of them is attempted murder. All within a week. Because
have you seen his GoFundMe?
It's not a GoFundMe, though. It is
this is true.
This is very important because GoFundMe would take him down. Yeah, you're right. You're right. This platform that he currently uses is supposed to be calling itself a Christian organization. We know what that necessarily means, and when it comes to these guys, and basically they say they believe in free speech and all of that. But the Nazis have been using this particular platform to fundraise since they keep getting kicked off of GoFundMe. The sad thing, unfortunately, is that some of us are using it as well because of the same reason, when they need to raise money for legal situations.
I did hear there was a GoFundMe for the spider that bit Kyle Rittenhouse, but I have not been able to find it.
It might have came down, but the only thing that they ever take down, to be honest with you, is wait a minute, did you just say the spider?
The spider,
yep.
The spider.
Yeah.
So we can support our comrade.
I thought you said that it was one for Rittenhouse, and then I said, wait a minute, that didn't sound right. I better go back. Oh boy. Yeah, of course there would be. I wonder who gets that money in real life, though. No, the only thing that this particular platform has taken down was a pro-choice fundraiser. They took that down. Everything else is fair game. And yes, he's making hand over fist with that fundraiser of his. And other races, or most importantly, this is the sick thing. You notice that there's a lot of so-called influencers that realize that they can make money off of just calling Black people the N-word in public. And they can make bucks all over the place. That and that's due basically to a lot of these platforms letting them do it. And that's going to make things a lot dangerous, not just for us, but for them as well, and for the society in general. I mean, and now we have a situation, and it's once again it's coming from Tennessee, and it's unfortunate because Tennessee is a beautiful state. I love going down. I really do love going down there for Amran and things like that, but I rather not. I rather enjoy the time there. But
Yeah, there's a lot of other really good things going on. I just think that the other night when we were at Capitol Hill Baptist Church, that room was full of people, history, good folks who were doing good things all the time here. There is an awful lot of good going on. It's just that the light doesn't shine on that as much.
yeah, that's unfortunate. We got to put light on you on your projects. Maybe that will help a little bit. I know you have other things that you have. You have books, I believe.
Well, I have written one book. I'm not pushing it too much because I published it through a Christian publishing company, and I'm telling you, the Christian publishing companies are not to be trusted. I'm done with it. I'm taking a page out of Taylor Swift's book, where I'm rewriting it. I'm repackaging, and I'm going to put it back out again. It will be out this summer. It's going to be called Unfinished Business, and it will be about growing up in the Jim Crow South and stories that happened. That the other book, which is called When God Goes Missing, the one I'm not pushing. I have got 2 book studies going right now with that, and I wrote it as the idea behind it was I wanted to find a way to heal from the stuff that I had never quite gotten through, and writing about it made a difference. And every time I do a reading, invariably I will have somebody come up afterwards and say, I know exactly what you're talking about. But right now I've got a room full of women every Sunday morning. We're talking about a chapter we're going through and having a discussion. And the women, we've been on this for going on 3 months now. I never dreamed we would.
Incarcerated women, Susan? Is this through that? Are these?
This is a disciples group.
Okay. I didn't know. I knew you worked with incarcerated women too, so I didn't know if it was.
Right. Now, this is a disciples church, and there is an American Baptist church in D.C. that's also doing a book study. So it's kind of like this stuff is everywhere. I would encourage people also. Michelle Flynn, who is one of my housemates, has a Substack where she keeps people up to date on what's going on in Tennessee, and both the state and local. And it is one of the best, most well done, documented Substacks I have ever come across. Michelle is thorough. I'll send you all a link to that. And she and a woman named Colleen Weiss also do a podcast called Angelic Dissenters. And it's on YouTube. And I can send you a link for that as well.
By all means.
I have listened to, still watch a lot of podcasts. And theirs has to be one of the best, because you've got these 2 women who are, they're getting down and gritty about what's going on. And not only are they tremendous, they're very plugged in, but there's something about when somebody is deeply entrenched in something and they have just happen to be really, really good people. And that's Michelle and Colleen.
Well, I want to thank you for being here today.
Well, it's been good. I'm glad we got together.
Yeah, I'm glad too. I mean, yes, we had a hiccup here and there, but I'm glad that we were able to make this happen. I think for especially for the sake of Tennessee, which I'll repeat again, is a beautiful state, and I want nothing but the best for it. But right now, the worst is running things. So we're gonna keep up on everything that's going on, and I hope that everybody prevails. But I want to do more than hope. I want to help. I know a lot of people out there does too. So
Yep. Many thanks to you.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Susan.
All right. Good night.
Night. If you see the lights on in the back, that's because we was getting ready to go and we forgot while we're doing this new thing of editing. I mean editing and pre-recording. We forgot to say goodbye. So let us say goodbye. Goodbye. No, just no, we're not gonna do it like that. No, seriously. We want to thank you everybody for indulging us with all of this technology issues, and we hope that you come visit us again next week. Next week, we're going to have not-for-profit on. We were supposed to have them on a couple of weeks ago from Reconstruction, and we're now coming around again to do this again. The reason why we couldn't do it then was because I was dealing with ISIS, so Laura. But at the so we're going to talk to him about his projects and what's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks with him, and we're going to have a ball with him. He's a great brother to talk to. So, and I would strongly suggest that if you never heard of the show, I'm sorry, the band Reconstruction, by all means, go find their stuff. And we used some of their music a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody check them out. All righty. So we got to let everybody know that, like, once again, everything's going to be re-recorded, but we still want you to still show up and help us out and subscribe over at not just Patreon, because you can do that now, but also Substack, and I'm going to let Beth explain all of that.
Yeah, follow us everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, Substack, Patreon. And with Substack, of course, and Facebook and YouTube, you can subscribe, you can follow us, and you don't have to pay anything. We believe information in education, and it is what's going to get us out of this authoritarian state that's now in control. We've got to just get the information out to people. We are anti-capitalist, so if you can't pay, show up, be there, join, follow, subscribe. If you can, throw a few bucks our way. If you can subscribe, that keeps One People's Project going. One People's Project has been fighting fascism, raising awareness, educating, sharing information for a quarter century in this fight. Before there was Donald Trump, OPP was out there telling people, this is where we're headed. This is where we're headed. So throw some money that way if you've got it. If you don't, we still want everybody. We believe that sharing this information and communicate back to us, give us comments, send us messages. Is there something you'd like to see on the show? Let us know.
Thank you much, and we'll see you again next week. ISIS, Wespines, we're going to miss you. We love you.